Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to EOcafe, where the EO community meets. I'm delighted to host today's session. Jeff Sawyer is unfortunately unavailable today, but he will be back soon, don't worry. This is the 88th EOcafe and the first of the year. So, on behalf of the Secretariat, I wish you all the best for the new year. Today, we will explore the ongoing Polish presidency of the Council of the European Union. So, I will start by reminding you all the rules for this EO Cafe. So please first include your name and presentation. Keep your microphone muted unless speaking, and please feel free to use your camera. It's great to see everyone. Use the chat if you have any kind of question or remark during this discussion. In the second part of the EOcafe, you will have the opportunity to contribute. And when you do so, please introduce yourself when you start talking. Remember that this EOcafe is recorded and will be available on the Ersk YouTube channel. So if by mistake or no chance you missed one, please do not hesitate to go to this YouTube channel and explore the previous ones. So please grab a cup of tea or coffee or your preferred beverage and let's begin. For many, a new year means new resolutions, but for the European Union, it means a new presidency of the Council of the European Union. This rotates amongst member states every 6 months, as introduced by the Lisbon Treaty in 2009. Following Hungary, that we interacted with, Poland now holds the presidency, with Denmark taking over in July. So we are really pleased today to welcome Martina Perek, representing the Polish presidency of the Council of the EU. Martina, could you please introduce yourself or share some key background information?
Thank you so much, and good afternoon to all of you. First and foremost, of course, Happy New Year, although for me and our team, space policy team in the ministry or generally in the Polish presidency, it has already begun, let's say, weeks ago. Nevertheless, it's really our pleasure, my pleasure and my colleagues present here with me. It's a pleasure being your guests, and I'm, as already introduced, I'm working in a Polish Ministry of Economic Development and Technology in the Space Policy Unit. And together with me today is Łukasz Maciak from the same unit and Marta Balcer from the Polish Space Agency, and they both are very experienced in space policy issues at multiple levels, engaged in many space groups, including also European Space Agency groups. So we started our year in a full swing, and all of us are in the Polish presidency space team. Maybe a few words also from my side about me. I've been working in a governmental administration sector since 2009, so it's a couple of years now, with a 2-year break for a private sector, and this time I was sharing halfly between Warsaw and Brussels, because for 6 years I was a space industry and tech harm attaché in the Polish permanent representation to the European Union. So all of my professional career circles around European and international affairs, economy, technology, competitiveness, and currently I'm in this role Space Working Party chair during our 6 months presidency of the EU Council. As for the educational background, I graduated from the Warsaw University of Technology and then completed MIT course on the new space economy, as well as the on-site Stanford Business School of Business program on the negotiation. So this was really a quick wrap up where I come from. I hope that with every question you can turn to me and I will develop further.
Thank you very much, Martina. To start, because maybe some of the people involved attending this EOcafe may not be completely familiar with this, can you please explain the role of the Council presidencies to our community?
Indeed. So, Manuel, as you rightly pointed out, the presidency rotates among member states every 6 months. And during this relatively short period, the presidency, so to speak, chairs all the meetings at every level in the Council of the European Union. So this is one of the EU institutions, helping to ensure continuity of the EU work in the Council mainly. But the presidency is not held or managed only by one political leader. So you might think that is a president. It is not also the same as the president of the European Council, which is the stable position currently. Antonio Costa is taking this role, and it's not just also a symbolic role because the presidency is represented by a member state and the government from the country that holds it. Four things that are really essential of the presidency's role. So the presidency makes sure that there is a continuity of the EU agenda in the Council. So whatever proposals, subjects, legislative files are being proposed from the Commission side, but also from other institution sides. The Council role is to start to negotiate it among member states' governments. Sound lawmaking. This is really essential. The role of the presidency is to try to find and reach an agreement on the many legislative files through so-called trilogues, so trilateral meetings, informal negotiations, really multiple meetings in Brussels, in other EU member states. Also cooperation among member states. This is the role, ensuring this cooperation goes smoothly. There is no quarrel between member states or each doubt, and every single question is being responded. And also coordination and cooperation among other EU institutions, because the presidency is so kind of a face of the Council while working with other EU institutions. So this is the let's say, umbrella's role of the presidency, and the general role of the presidency is to acting as a so-called honest broker. So to be impartial. The presidency doesn't takes sides. It needs to be, let's say, moderate in their decision. It couldn't, prejudge decisions, and also presidency do not, intervene when there is a national interest there. So mainly the continuity of the Council work must be ensured by the presidency. Of course, the presidency is supported by General Secretariat of the Council. Nevertheless, it has to plan, it has to coordinate, it has to really manage the discussion, and also organize. It has to organize multiple meetings, formal, informal, at many levels. So that was, I think, really wrap up and in a pile.
Great, thank you very much. let's speak about Poland a bit, because Poland is quite unique currently. I would say Poland has experienced a really strong economic growth since the 90s, continuous growth, with a really diverse industrial landscape. We know Poland really robust in IT, for example, in finance, in R&D. A lot of foreign companies are settling in Poland over the last few years. On our side, in Ersk, we publish every year an industry survey. And in order to prepare this EOcafe, I went through the previous one. And even if I knew, I'm still always a bit surprised, amazed by the growth, the rise of the Earth observation downstream sector in Poland over the last few years. Um, in 2023, the last numbers we collected were based on 2023. We identified 28 companies, for example, for the downstream in Poland. We have 6 members currently in the association registered in Poland. So can you give us some key figures, gives on an insight about the Earth observation landscape in Poland, and more specifically on the industry side?
Yes. Well, I'm impressed that you identified also by numbers certain companies, and it's true. Really, the landscape is evolving very rapidly. There are a lot of opportunities and growing chances for Polish companies also forming various consortia, agreements between each other. So this is a field where we thrive, and our companies are really experiencing dynamic development. Among those companies, of course, Earth observation competence and specialty is really, I think, the most vivid issue. But there are also manufacturers of small satellite platforms, smaller or larger, the components, producers of optical instruments, ground-based and onboard software for satellite electronics, as you mentioned, of course, research instruments and providers of services based on satellite data. And I think this is exactly the point of interest. I could name many companies and I think many of them you can also know from the cooperation network and the constellations they are building, because we have already a couple of one big and a couple of smaller satellites in CubeSats, NanoSats. Our also scientific and academia is here very active, but the company side they are also eagerly cooperating with academia, and especially the flagship Earth observation projects with a key role of the Polish space sector. It's Copernicus data space ecosystem here, the famous DIASes. Our companies are really managing this the biggest platform of Copernicus. Also destination Earth program and satellite ground segment of the Copernicus. These are the sectors where Polish companies are leading and they are engaged there. And in terms of also holding the numbers and connecting the companies, there is many there are a couple of associations, business associations working in Poland. For example, Polish Space Industry Association. They are issuing frequently updating the catalog with the Polish companies and their specializations in Polish and in English. So it's widely available on the website. So it's also a good point to connect and find your counterpart there. And also, I think last year it was in October. Many around 10 Polish companies, the leaders on the market formed, and also together with the institutions, they formed so-called partnership, dedicated partnership on Earth observation. So there is a lot, going on in this field. I just mentioned really, a basic field, but here, and I could just name really companies that are in the full swing, especially when it comes to cooperation with European Space Agency. They are really benefiting from it quite freely and with great courage and competences.
Yeah, you mentioned the European Space Agency, but Poland is one of the countries which significantly increase the contribution to the ESA budget as well.
Indeed.
So you are really a rising star on this aspect. In mind as well, I have because you mentioned the word constellation, but the Camellia constellation civil mission is one of the key future asset we hope for Europe as well, Polish owned. And so you are part of this group of countries with Greece, Italy, Spain, Portugal, which are really investing currently a lot on the development of new capabilities. So it's really interesting to see this velocity in Poland.
Yeah.
Velocity.
Mhm.
Please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks that you mentioned the Camila project. It's an acronym for a country awareness mission in land analysis. So really, it's about also observation, and this is something we invest in. It will definitely, through that project, the sector will gain better satellite observation capabilities, and this was also be a chance to develop services based on high resolution satellite data. So really, it was, let's say, well developed and structurally planned. Intention behind it, but of course, I think nowadays most of member states they either plan or already have, when they are big enough, their own national constellations. So really, an Earth observation is here, I would say, key. Of course, this is something that is really needed, and that is why also it's one of our main priority in terms of forming discussions, documents during our presidency. We also want to get that focus on that area, especially collaboration in this field, and usage of satellite imagery data.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. As a trade association, we really welcome all this investment in this new constellation. For sure, we see this as a real opportunities. What we would like to know more is about really this user tech approach that should go in pair with the development of new capabilities. This is something I went personally to Italy, to Greece recently. Yeah, I think it is really important. I was not aware about this signification of Camellia, so it's a good start, because even in the requirement we can see that there is willingness to develop this awareness and so on. So let's hope that it will be really successful and strengthen the European ecosystem at all. Talking about strengthen the ecosystem, I would say that today the European Union is really in a transitional phase with, as you said before, a new parliament, a new commission, a new commissioner, in fact, a new trio with the Poland, Denmark, and Cyprus. So there is a significant evolution. Same within the European Commission, President Ursula von der Leyen outlined a new approach in Commissioner Kubilius' mission letters, introducing a shift toward defense with different reference to strengthen the ecosystem, the position of Europe. we identify as well also that the reference to space were not the first bullet point. So Poland would have to tackle a lot of items, folders. I would say some were, is it politically correct to say, a bit on hold over the last few months for a lot of different reasons, obviously, with a change of commission, for example. But we have in mind, obviously, the EU space law, which is a really important one for our industry. Another one is a space data economy strategy. And on the other side, we have all these new priorities, which have been defined by the Commission in order to strengthen the position of Europe for the defense and security. So in this evolving landscape, can you outline the Polish presidency's priorities and main action, which will be able to support the Earth observation downstream sector over the next 6 months?
Sure, of course, and you put it very, vividly and very rightly to the point that this is a moment in time, very special. Definitely, we see it at European level, but also geopolitically, so to speak, because it impacts our actions. Sometimes what we plan is not exactly what will happen, and we have to also adapt. But security Europe, this is our motto, the motto of the whole Polish presidency, and it does reflect the current challenges that we are facing. Our continent is facing, not only continent, of course, but mainly. And in space policy, our Polish presidency priorities when it comes to especially Earth observation and generally security as a horizontal rule. I can name a few. So the first place I would go with as I mentioned, the maximizing of the benefits of using Earth observation and satellite data to increase exactly the resilience. In particular, we want to focus on the use of artificial intelligence for security, for crisis management, and also effective integration of space-based information into civil protection command and also analysis processes. So here also the downstream element is quite important from your perspective, I mean. Of course, we saw, and we have been seeing the growing importance of satellite data and especially imagery data, and that took us to the point that we need to strengthen the discussion and take some actions towards expanding the potential of integrated use of this type of data for the needs of not only the administration, but public services was also our goal, but also the economy and also the services for the society, the companies for the society. And for this reason, we also undertook work on proposing and negotiating so-called council conclusions. So these are sets of, let's say, recommendations for member states that will be adopted hopefully at the council late May, and that will form a basis and for directions, show directions for further actions. And also one of our priorities is, of course, increasing the participation of SMEs, of the companies in the implementation of the European Space Program, and continuing and deepening cooperation with European institutions and services, to Commission, Parliament, External Action Service, and of course European Space Agency. This is something we have really high on our agenda, and we want to also take care of putting more on synergies between space industry, space sector, and other sectors of the economy. So this is maybe quite general goal, but it will manifest. It will manifest itself in language, in some actions, in trying to building the bridges between the sectors by events, which I can also mention a few, and also. As you pointed out, we expect this publication of the European Space Law. It was announced already some time ago, but hopefully it will see the public light, and the Commission will publish it. But we will be ready. We are ready to take on this journey. And I mentioned some planned events we are organizing in cooperation with our partners, mainly with the Polish Space Agency, also back-to-back European Commission, European Space Agency. And I think for the audience gathered here, the most interesting could be the so-called EU Space Days. This is an annual event. Sometimes it was called EU Space Week, but this time we wanted to merge this with the InfoShare conference. It's a technology conference, so giving the opportunity not only for strictly space-based or space-interested companies to meet and chat, but also trying to form new avenues of cooperation. So it is planned for end of May, 27th, 28th of May in Gdańsk, so in beautiful Polish city near the seaside.
When you mentioned this connection between the space and non-space industries, does it mean that you are implementing action with, for example, EU SPA in order to support this? Because this is clearly core of their mandate to make this connection. Or do you liaise as well with other entities? We know that HISA currently is working significantly with a connection with a new, they call them stakeholder.
Yes, the cooperation is really various. It vasts, it expands among many actors. Really, believe me, it's not just cooperating with one entity, because depending on the event, on the topic, we are cooperating with EU SPA, with ESA, with ECMWF, with EUMETSAT. Really, this is a very broad portfolio of our partners here, and we treat them and they treat us as partners. And this is also the beauty of this 6 months, that while joining forces makes us really stronger and better. And of course, we can convey many more messages through that, and as I hope you can see, we are quite open also to building up new avenues of cooperation, and also taking up different events on board. Nevertheless, the calendar of the presidency is really limited, and we had to schedule really well in advance the meetings because of the logistics. We are not only the one ministry dealing with the presidency, of course, even in the space portfolio, because I think that it is the case also for other member states, but definitely, in Poland also the institutional landscape when we are talking about space is quite diverse. Of course, and several ministries are involved and responsible for different elements of space policy management. But of course, the main and central institution is our ministry, the Ministry of Economic Development and Technology. We create and coordinate space policy in Poland, and the minister is supported by the advisory committee for space matters. And this committee consists of representatives of most ministries dealing with space issues. Ministry of of Science and Higher Education, for example, deals with Earth observation and Copernicus in particular. Ministry of Digitization and Ministry of Administration and Interior Affairs. They are dealing with satellite navigation and communication. So Galileo, PRS, EGNOS. Ministry of Defense also has a very much role in this space landscape. And of course, there is Polish Space Agency acting as an executive agency, which is a subordinate body to the Minister of Economy, and we work very closely with them. And also, additionally, several other public institutes and agencies, such as Agency for Industry Development, who is responsible for example, for ESA BIG, so business incubators. There's also Meteo Institutes, Space Research Center of the Polish Academy of Sciences, or Crisis Management Center. So it's a really kind of a matrix of institutions working together. So sometimes, when you are, especially from the company side, when you want to, get some information or a decision, you have to also bear in mind that there is a whole map of actors who need to be included or consulted, who had their role in the process. So this is not so simple as it sounds, but also very good in terms of building a really nice group of people involved in space, and also who can spread the knowledge further among institutions and several other sectors and companies.
Great. I really like this approach, because I think that for members for the Earth observation industry, this complementarity between on one hand defense and on the other hand security on the other industries, or civil security and so on, which can be really broad, can be really attractive, because all of them, each of them, can find a room where they could benefit from the events. So great. Maybe you may have already replied to this, because you mentioned this EU Space Day. Is there any kind of other opportunity where members could benefit from the actions that you will design, or you design, in fact?
I was just thinking about some events, because I know that we will be engaged, as a panelists or representatives in many also conferences or events. This is sometimes taking place on I don't want to say ad hoc basis, but there are plenty of events that will happen, could happen. But particularly, we are focusing also on good and sound management and communication in the EU of the matters we are dealing with, and specifically also trying to explain to the European stakeholders and also other member states how we want to do it. So we are also organizing many meetings for so space attaches. So they are the representatives of the countries, and they on their ground to their country, they are, let's say, our sometimes events ambassadors. So if they are also doing something, they are inviting the presidency also to be their support, or to be their part of council explanatory, say, an informatory element. And so there will be also a few high-level conferences in Poland, but it will mostly also be the direction will be mostly to security issues because of the priority, the general priority. So I don't think it will be so pertinent to mention that, but there is a planned high-level conference, security conference of ESA, which we will also be joining and partnering with. It will be in April, 14th, 15th of April in Warsaw. And this because of also this year this was also 50th anniversary of European Space Agency, so really beautiful occasion to commemorate and also to join forces and share the good news about it. But apart from that, at this moment, not particular, the conference or event. Apart from that, I recall, to be frank. Yeah. But of course, in any case, as we are here speaking, I will, also try to. We will also try to, inform you well in advance, and feel free also to reach out to us in that case.
And same, do not hesitate to reach out to Ersk, who will be the sounding box for you as well, to reach out to our community as well, of course. Great, thank you very much, Martina. I see that we already have several questions in the chat. So maybe we can start with the first one from Alexander Captain. Alexander, can you unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and ask your question to Martina Perek?
Yeah, with pleasure. Can you hear me well?
Perfectly.
Excellent. I understand that the Commission, also supported by the Polish presidency, is considering to set up a new program, Earth Observation Governmental Services. Now here, the big question for me as a service provider is that some opportunities to stabilize the commercial market and grow it by more governmental demand? Or is there a risk that in the end the Commission will buy just satellites, like for the Copernicus Sentinels, which might be a real risk for the growing commercial market? So which way do you see Europe going on that point?
Thank you so much. This is an excellent and very interesting question. Exactly, this new service or expansion of the services, Copernicus services, has been already mentioned or announced. I still remember the evolution of European space program, EU space program, and also the secure connectivity component, so IRIS Square, which was, at the outset, the issue was, let's say, the money. The money was the issue. It's always like this, yeah. And there was a solution that could be found, and I believe in this case also, but of course, it's not like the idea when it's presented is already implemented as such in the same form. And your words, I think, are also a good example that if there is a proper, justification, argumentation, and explanation, so this preparatory phase, justification phase, and the so-called in the EU law, this is always there is a so-called impact assessments, obligatory, mandatory to prepare, and it must, include also the commercial, so state of play elements. And in this case, I would say it would be desired to really take into account the commercial elements and also the companies that are already well built, set up, but also emerging and already well advanced or had great capabilities gained or capabilities in the space domain to include them in these services, or at least show some routes to dig in. But definitely this is an excellent example, and we already remember even 2 days ago and yesterday I spoke with the colleague of one member state exactly about this. So this will be, and it is already an issue in Brussels bubble, definitely.
Thank you so much for considering that point.
Thank you. Let's try to respect the gender balance with the question as well. We have a question from Christelle Bogarts from.
Yes, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
I don't know if you can see me. Yeah, now it's me. Okay, so I'm in charge in Thales Alenia Space of developing business on civil security program, and just wondering, because Poland is a key player in that program, how you think, what is your view in the next semin? How do you want to proceed, or do you want to expand this program? And especially the link also with EOGS, which is also something we are working on it. So, but yeah, if you can have some insight. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this question and also for recognizing us. And this, if I correctly understood, civil security from space, right? This
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
it's this program is definitely one of our points of interest. And if I may here also give the floor to my colleague, to Łukasz, because he is an expert in ESA programs, managing many of them and being an essential part of the Polish delegation to respond in more detail to that. Łukasz, please.
Thank you, Martyna. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Łukasz Maciak. I'm the Vice Chair of Space Working Party, but also involved in many ESA programs. As Martyna mentioned, civil security from space is a very important program for us. We've been developing in development of infrastructure, but also in development of services. We would like to prepare some hub in Poland. What is happening in different parts of Europe, but everything is relatively fresh. We are in the phase of preparing the concept, the partnership project. So, we have the, let's say, long-lasting approach, and we would like to have the investment on the stable level in this area. We would like to, regarding the sharing the data, we would like to also to have this hub to be able to share data with other hubs, and also to be part of the network, which will be for everybody, also for those countries who do not have satellite of constellations. So this is our, let's say, long-term vision, long-term ambitions, and we are offered for collaboration with different countries and on that, and also we collaborate, of course, closely with ESA, but this is, as you know, quite new but important topic. So we now, just trying to organize ourselves and just to be because for sure open for different options.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have then two questions from Wolfhard Gell. So, Wolfhard, can you pick one?
Yeah. Thank you, Emmanuel, for having me on this question. And well, thank you for Martina for this very interesting presentation explanation of the Polish presidency priorities you gave. Now, what I would be interested is to learn what would be the special competencies, what would be the special expertise, especially when you're looking at what you explained as an intensive collaboration between academia and the private sector. What are the special competencies that Poland can use to contribute to more competitiveness of the overall European EO industries, and also to develop its own niche as a Polish specialist community? That would be my first question.
Thank you very much, Wolfgang. It's again a really excellent question, and I think many high-level people were thinking about it still. But yes, definitely, we were also reflecting on exactly what the specifically Polish input and Polish competence could be. Of course, as at the beginning, Emmanuel mentioned, the IT tech sphere is really greatly developed in Poland. We have, I can boast, with really having great minds around and great people. This is, the people's energy, engagement, and creativity forms this niche, because building satellites, using data, building software to use the data, building platforms to process the data, the images, also using AI technologies in space, from space. This I think is the direction also we are going there, and together with the companies, with academia, these are the lines we see as being formed one of the most important, since it's not only a fashion, a mode of talking about AI everywhere we can go, but definitely Earth observation processing with AI, using AI also in space and here downstairs is something we can see as a vital element of our future.
Mm-hmm. You also mentioned the collaboration and also almost a fusion of industries from non-space and space, which go into civil security, but also into defense. And I mean, from my own background experience, one of the biggest problems when it comes to defense and when it comes to national security and using EO data in general, whether they're called EO data or spaceborne reconnaissance, is two things. A, that we still lack a lot of technology to just turn these data into defense relevant information for the military user or for the national intelligence user. The other one is that we're often lacking the connection between the different forces, reconnaissance is usually an Air Force topic, but the user is actually the Army or the Navy. So do you see a push to integrate more, not only between different industries and between industries and public users, but also between the different public users to create a common basis? You mentioned data processing platforms, and I mean CDSE and what Cloudflare did there is world class. So do you see this being built on to integrate the different users and the different users into different data products?
Mm-hmm. Again, thank you for brilliant question. I do see that kind of direction you mentioned, and also in our here institutional landscape, it changes. No, I didn't want to mention that at the beginning, but even in here in our ministry, we are transforming some views. But of course, we don't want to say. I don't want to say that we will shift immediately, or there will be a shift to only to military, and it will be subordinated in that kind of direction, but rather as a synergies between civil and military. And it is already visible at the company level. We already see that companies originally working in a commercial, civil space sector and area, they are also perceived, and their services is perceived by the defense sector and defense public administration, military public administration, as vital, essential, and indispensable for nowadays operations. So they are also engaged in actions in the field, in space, and also new partnerships, collaborations are forming through that. But of course, looking at the sometimes sensitivity of data, some level of let's say division must be at some point maintained. Nevertheless, we see that we can use certain data for dual use. So if only this dual use could work both ways. Sometimes it can, sometimes it can't. So it's in this dilemma. But yes, it is going into that direction, and we see it, of course, when we also see and hear the new commissioner speeches and announcements. So this is also this steady direction. But well, the situation, I think, in the world sometimes forces you to take some decisions more rapidly and to transform your usual, let's say, business in other fields.
Thank you very much for this. Thank you.
Okay, time flies already. It's 7 to 5, so I want to give the opportunity for just a few questions. Yeah, still, if you can, Martina, stay a little bit. Really short question that I think a lot of people attending this EOcafe have in mind come from Agnieszka Lukasic. Agnieszka.
Hi, Cześć Martyna. Nice to see you. I just wanted to know if there are any updates on the European space law. What are your plans for your presidency?
Perfect. Thank you so much. And cześć Agnieszka, it's really great to see you, great to hear you. Great question. Updates. We ourselves were between the lines, let's say, updated by the Commission. We heard that probably it will be April, but maybe due to so-called vis major, it will might be postponed, but this is also our assumption. But I would my gut feeling is that it will come this semester, rather closer to half of the semester. We also planned for our presidency to, of course, officially start in the Council the negotiation among member states. Of course, this is a normal legislative procedure. So, firstly, the impact assessment analysis, and here also I talked about it. The element of status quo and how the situation now looks is very important. And as a presidency, we also planned to have at one of the meetings a debate again on the space law in general, not only the specifics European space law, which nobody saw publicly now. But generally, why do we need space law? Why it is important? How the situation is internationally for everybody looking. And we want to see how other member states, all member states, will react. How their situation on the ground looks like. How advanced they are in their national legislation, because many of them either already have or are planning, or under the space law. National space law is under development. So yes, the updates in terms of timing is also essential for us, since in the Compact Council, the space part, we planned to have a ministerial debate circled around maybe certain contentious points. And then it would be a first step for Denmark as a second country in the presidency's trio to take up the discussions further. So from our side, this is still on the table, the agenda, the plan. But we are here really in the hands of the Commission, and we are really cooperating with them, and they are cooperating with us. So I must admit that we are really well updated from their side. But of course, not everything also depends on strictly the DEFIS part. Nevertheless, I think the essential part is there. Yeah, so I unfortunately I don't have any more beefed news to give you. Only that we really feel that it will come, but rather in the second quarter of this semester, so closer to half year.
Thank you.
Thank you. On the same vein, Emmanuel Mondon asked a really short question too on the second folder. Emmanuel?
Yes, good afternoon. Yeah, it's about the space data economy strategy. So it was mentioned more than 12 months ago. And I don't know if someone has seen it, but I didn't. And that's super important, as you mentioned. Thanks.
Yeah, that's also something. Thank you, Emmanuel, for recalling that. This is something that we were discussing with the Commission as a potential, topic, potential part. Of course, they are on that still, and it is still in the planning. Maybe it will be correlated as a package. Maybe it will be broader than only the industrial strategy. I think it also depends now on the situation we are in Europe geopolitically. The competitiveness of the European sector, space sector also, but also European economy as a whole. And seeing, now I think 4 reports, high-level reports from the ministers. This was also, I think, element that was awaited by the Commission, and they wanted to. According to my feelings, they also wanted to have the full picture before they will issue a document that they already planned to issue. But I'm sure that it will come. It will be part of a broader picture. But again, while discussing with the Commission, we know that it will be there, but we have to be patient.
Thank you. And to conclude with the last question from Piotr, because I think it's really about the promotion of the capability and the user uptake. Piotr.
Piotr? Hear me now, I hope. My name is Piotr Wesołowski, working for Deutsche Telekom, and we operate Copernicus data space ecosystem at Prime together with Cloudflare. And that's why I want to ask question. You discuss a lot about new project, new constellation coming, but there is existing Earth observation data in Europe in the ecosystem that can be used. That's why I wanted to ask you if there is any program or way you want to promote use of existing data and promote the development of downstream applications.
Yes, thank you very much, Piotr. Also very, very pertinent, great question. I think it might, I might also recall what I mentioned before about, our, here back to the conclusions, council conclusions, because there we wanted, the concept is to really exactly pointing out what is in terms of the existing services and systems, constellations in particular, showing that what we can develop nationally, but also internationally between member states, could be used as a complementary form of cooperation and data usage, data sharing. But through that documents, let's say, we are raising awareness of high level people, but also it will be widely accessible to anyone, because after publishing, negotiating and adopting this document is available to everybody, and it forms a basis for further proposals, projects, concepts. So exactly what you have mentioned, we were thinking to also include in the document as a form of recognizing the already existing great capabilities and also integrating with what member states also have and what they are building. That was the concept. But exactly this is also the thing we want to take up. And thank you so much that you mentioned that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Martina. Thank you to all the one who did the question or attended this session. It's already more than 5, so we have to close. I think this session was really interesting because it really highlight the interest of the community of the different activity that the Polish presidency will manage in the upcoming months. And you can see, Martina, that there is really high interest to be part and to support the activity. So consider that all the community is engaged and is keen to be part of the action to support you in this activity. Thank you very much for the contribution you made, Martina, to this.
Thank you so much. This is also really a great honor and pleasure for me, my colleagues, to be able to share with you some information, to speak and also to know you better. Thank you for having me in this and my colleagues in this meeting.
To conclude, we'd say 2 things. The first one is that we will have another EOcafe in 2 weeks' time, as per usual, so you can already book this in your agenda. And maybe before, a few days earlier in Brussels, we have the European Space Conference that and ERSC is sponsoring this event. We will have a booth there, so do not hesitate to come to see us, to meet and to interact. We will be glad to use this as an opportunity to develop knowledge and synergies. So if you come to Brussels at the space event, do not hesitate, come to reach out to us and enjoy this for sure interesting conference to come. Thank you very much to all of you. I wish again you all the best for the new year, and let's work all together to support the development of the EO downstream industry. Thank you very much.